After the 2 new selections to the Jehovah's Witness governing body, it's clear to see that the religion is moving toward protecting its own interests and having representation of that on the governing body. So the first guy, Jody Jedele, he has an extensive background in real estate, which sounds more like he was handpicked to join the governing body because of his success and his background in closing real estate deals. So this begs the question, if he was a pioneer since 1989 and he served at Bethel since 1990, how was he able to work all those hours and be so successful in real estate? In a video posted on YouTube 12 years ago, it shows that he is a CCIM and a managing partner at Touchstone International Properties. And so he's giving explanations about his business. But in that video, and I'll post the link to the video in the description, he talks about education. So it's fair to ask the question, did he go to college to enter in his field of real estate and finance? Another question is, how did he leapfrog these longtime governing body helpers for a position on the governing body? And a more glaring question would be, when did he begin partaking and claiming to be anointed? Because you have to wonder, why is an anointed, now governing body member storing up treasures on earth and not in heaven? In other words, if he's a pioneer, he should be living a humble life just like every other pioneer. And he should be living a life of poverty just like every other Bethelite who swore an oath of poverty before joining Bethel. Also, they're supposed to forego any higher education and financial gain just as the religion pushes. Because we saw recently a circuit overseer training video that leaked about an elder being removed for his daughter going to college. And we also saw a convention video more recently that frowned upon a woman focusing on real estate investments over so-called spiritual goals. So why is the standard different for this guy, Jody? Well, it's clear to see, in my opinion, that the religion is now pivoting to become a real estate company, and his background and connections would serve the governing body much better than the old, clueless, and uneducated members that they've been used to. See, these men on the governing body, they do not have to give fantastic talks or be charismatic. That's an easy part of the job because elders around the world give talks every week. It's not hard to find someone that could stand in front of a microphone and read off an outline and add their little scriptures and illustrations to it. In fact, the current governing body members, they give very bland talks and they constantly look down at their notes because they're not very good speakers. People just look up to them and regard them highly simply because they're anointed and they're governing body members and they supposedly go in a room and talk to God. But if you listen to their talks, they're very bland. They look at their notes a lot. They're not very polished in their delivery. They often try to mix in little jokes to get the audience laughing and break the ice, so to speak. So to me, the governing body no longer needs any charismatic or well-polished speakers because their focus is now based on business, big business like real estate and growing financially. So Jody, with his real estate background, now joining the governing body is pretty rare, and it's probably setting a precedence from now on because this is probably a format they're going to look forward to when it comes to adding new members. Because if you think of it, why not have someone on the governing body with some type of experience when it comes to business and growing the overall business versus picking someone who is probably a friend of someone already on the body and they claim to be anointed? Even though they can be used as a loyal ally on the governing body, it's much more profitable to get someone on there who's versed in the business that the religion is now moving toward. But I'd be very interested to know, how could someone like him be anointed and a pioneer for all these years? Because someone like that probably wouldn't be pursuing this type of financial gain that he has been. And then the next guy, Rumph, on the other hand, he started at Bethel in 2020 and there's not much known about him, but on the avoidjw.org website, it mentioned that he was a desk man at the service desk in Wallkill, New York. And that means he basically came across cases of CSA. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was appointed from a legal standpoint. And I find it weird that he's so new to Bethel, being there only 4 years, but he climbed up the ranks that fast. It seems to me that he as well had been groomed and fast-tracked to the governing body. So moving forward, it looks like gone are the days where the governing body members were picked because of their loyalty or their service, such as being governing body helpers and helping out the guys at the top. It looks like they're really now going after guys that know how to run a business or have some important insight on how to move forward the religion. But also, I'm not so sure that the current governing body members had anything to do with selecting these guys. To me, this feels more like those really pushing the buttons behind the scenes of the governing body are the ones that chose these new guys, because it's really now more about business and not about religion and doctrine. So these two new guys, they probably have more power than you might think. But it's going to be interesting to see moving forward any new changes, as well as how they grow the business financially. Even though the members are dropping, it looks like they're really setting up to gain a lot more money and get a better plan moving forward financially.
The CCIM PIN or designation is recognized in the real estate industry, both locally in the United States as well as internationally, as being a premier real estate designation. The CCIM stands for Certified Commercial Investment Member. And in order to obtain this designation, one has to complete both a rigorous educational component as well as real-life experience, a portfolio of qualifying experience.